Okay, well, now we're going to look at solving systems of inequalities that have separate regions. And if they have separate regions, then there is, in fact, no solution. And so we've got two sets of inequalities here. I got one set right here and one here that we're going to jump over here in a moment and graph. And I'm really excited about the graph because I found an application on the TI-84 calculator, at least, that if you have that app, it does something very exciting. And I'll show you what that is, something that I had not discovered before. If you don't have that app, I think you can always go to the TI website and download that particular app. You can try that. If not, then you'll have to do the way we've been doing it when we're graphing inequalities. But now we're looking at solving systems of inequalities. So I've got first, and this corresponds to page 147 on your textbook. This is example 2, the guided practice 2A and 2B. So let's see. Let's look at our first inequality. We've got y is greater than or equal to negative 4x plus 8. And then our second is y is less than negative 4x plus 4. Now I should recognize something right off. These two inequalities have the same slope, negative 4. And because of that, I'm expecting them to be parallel lines. Then in our second set that we will do, we've got the y is greater than or equal to the absolute value of x, and y is less than or equal to, just less than 2x minus 24. So we're going to jump over here to the calculator. We're going to look at something that's pretty cool. If you've got the app, if not, you may try to find it. And if you can't find it and download it, then you're going to have to do it the way we've been always doing it. Okay, we're over here at our calculator. And I told you that I discovered something that was kind of exciting. And again, I don't know that everyone will have this on their calculator. However, if you do, great. If not, you may want to get on TI's website and see if you can download it. If not, then you got to stick with the other way. But I'm going to hit this button here. It says apps right there. I'm going to hit apps. And I want to go down to where it says I, but I can see right there. There it is. So I'm going to go down here to number 6, inequalities. Now, if I didn't, I could always, if I had a big long list, I could go alpha I, and it would take me right to it. But I'm going to hit enter. And then it says just press any key to continue. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going in here to y equal. Well, it takes me to y equal. All right. Now, if you remember, my first inequality was y is greater than or equal to negative 4x plus 8. Well, I'm going to move this cursor over here, and I'm going to hit enter. And it brings me to this screen. And I'm going to go, I want to choose, I'm looking for y is greater than or equal to. Well, there's a greater than or equal to. And that's going to give me a solid line. This is one of the exciting things about this. Okay, so that gives me a y is greater than or equal to, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put in negative 4x plus 8. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and look at the graph of that. Oh, let me adjust my window. Take it back to its normal setting. I was looking at something else earlier, and I'm actually going to go to these settings here in just a minute, but that's okay. Okay, so there's my first one, and if you notice, it's giving me a solid line. Now I'm going back to y equal, and I'm going to go into y2, and again, I'm going to put my cursor here and hit enter, and that is going to give me an option. And now I'm looking the inequality that I am going to graph is y is less than negative 4x plus 4, and there it is. And look what I've got right there. I've got dotted line. I have a dotted line. Okay, So, and you can see I've just got a less than, and again, I'm going to put negative 4x plus 4 this time. And let's jump over here to the graph. And there's my first one with the solid line. There comes my second one, and look, it's got a dashed line. Isn't that cool? Now, in terms of what we're actually trying to solve, you can see I have no overlapping. I have no intersection between these two inequalities, and this is in fact a no solution because I have no intersection. These are parallel lines. They're never going to cross. They're never going to intersect. I know that by the definition of parallel lines. Now let's go over and let's graph the 2b. Okay, so now this time I've got y is greater than or equal to. So I can leave my greater than or equal to alone, but this time it is the absolute value of x. I'm going to hit the clear button. It keeps my greater than or equal to. And remember, to get absolute value, I'm going to hit math. I'm going to go to number. I'm going to choose option 1, ABS, standing for absolute value. And I'm going to put in x and clear that. And then I'm going down here to my second inequality, and this one is still a less than, so I'm going to leave that alone as well, that less than, which is going to give me a dotted line. And I've got the inequality of 2x minus 24. And let's graph and see what we look like. All right, there's my absolute value coming in. It's a V shape, and I just get a little bitty teeny corner of this second one. And so it looks like from my screen right here, I have no intersection as well, or separate regions. But you know what? There's just something about that slope that kind of makes me interested. So I'm going to go in here to my window, and I've done this, so I kind of had an idea. Well, I'm going to do it the way I did it. At first, I started with 20, x max of 20, and I changed my y max of 20. I just want to kind of see what it looked like, because the slope of that second inequality just gave me a little bit of pause. So there's my absolute value popping in, and look, now I'm still seeing this slope, and you know what I'm thinking? You know, there's somewhere out here I think this is going to have an intersection or an intersecting region, and I'm going to make another adjustment to my window. This time I think I'm going to choose y max of 30 and x max of 30 and y max of 30. I'm just curious. Let's see what happens this time. There's my absolute value. Look right there. Right there in that tip-top corner, we begin to start seeing an intersection between these two inequalities. And so even though this is in a section that says separate regions, the book has missed it. In fact, there are intersecting regions if I just make my window large enough, and I can see that point of intersection. And so this is not really a no solution, even though if all I saw was this area right here, I would think so. But right here, I'm beginning to see that there is an intersecting region. There is a solution to these two inequalities, even though the book doesn't think so. All right, well, there we go. But hey, exciting things. Remember, you go to apps, you can choose inequalities. Now, if I want to quit that, I come right back up here, and if I go to this top line right here, I see this thing that says quit app, and I can get rid of it and only use it when I need it. And so I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say, okay, let's go ahead and quit this app because I don't use it that often. And it says quit inequality graphing, and I'm going to say, how about that? I will. Okay, well, there we go. Separate regions, although they weren't all separate regions as we were told, but we're happy.